Hello and welcome. I'm Terrahawk, and welcome to another first time play. Once again, we are back with a PS3, PS Plus free game, one of the last ones we got available for August 2015. Today's game is CastleStorm, and like two of the other free games we've looked at already this month for the free games, we have to install an update. I've already ranted on the God of War Ascension video, or earlier on my channel, about how rubbish doing patches for digital downloads is. To give it its due, a 16 meg download is far better than the 300 plus megabits we had to download for Soundscapes, and infinitely much better than the 9 separate total 4 gig downloads we had to do for God of War Ascension. At least this is a fairly short. You could excuse this one by means of a patch. I do believe this also includes some of the DLC in this version of this game, which might explain that. Might be the unlock keys and other bits and pieces, assets to download for that. So 60 megabits I may not worry too much about, but that's 3 out of 4 games I played on PS Plus this month that I've had to download yet more updates before I can start playing. So this is a game by Zen Studios. This is CastleStorm. It is something of an odd game. It's somewhere of a tower defense meets Angry Birds, I guess. That's probably the best way to put it. Excuse me. Played through this for around an hour or so, a little over an hour, and I'm still I'm not entirely certain what to make of it, I'll be perfectly honest. They certainly put a lot into this game. There's various different elements. You can see there's quite a number of campaigns which we'll look over quickly, and there's lots of different gameplay mechanics that feature in this game. It just seems to be missing a bit of polish. It's like they almost had 2 or 3 game ideas and weren't certain which one they wanted to make most important, and they kind of threw them all together, really. I suppose is the best way of putting it. As you can see here, we've got our usual readjust the screen sizes to get it all in the right place. Even though it actually started off not too far off for once, but I fiddle around a bit left right anyway. Add the black border so you all get so used to on these videos. Yeah, so you can see the various options here: single player, multiplayer, scoreboards. You can download extra contents, there's trophies, help and options. We're going to help and options, and you've got the usual credits, settings, basic terms of audio, music, sound, voice. Pretty much as you'd expect to find. Video options, pretty much the video option is the size of the screen. Again, on consoles there's no options for gammas or anti-aliasing or any of those things. And basically, do you invert the aims and do you want blood or not in terms of game settings? So not a huge amount there. Controls are fairly easy. You'll have castle controls, there'll be hero controls, and which it'll make sense, it'll make sense in a moment why there are hero controls and castle controls for what's a castle defense game, essentially. And yeah, it was quite somewhat of an odd game. Like many games, it chucks you straight into a sequence, that idea of here you are suddenly powered up, and you get an idea of how it all fits together. But because it's the first thing you do, they have to explain it all anyway. And you see it's explained here, the various, you might be reading through this while I'm speaking. You see how to play here. So you have your castle built up, you can spawn troops from barracks which you place within your castle. You can cast spells as and when you've unlocked them. You can transport your hero in, and your hero then becomes almost like a side-scrolling beat 'em up, I guess. A fairly simplistic one, let's be honest, but you have the option of chucking the hero in. And then, of course, you have the ballista at the front. And all these things are individually of themselves. They're games you'll have found anywhere else. They put them all together and they've put a lot in. There's various different game types there. There's 4 campaigns. I believe the last 2, so the Warrior Queen and the one previously, are the extra DLCs. And Kingdom Quest is the one it starts with.
Long, long ago.
But the fact it has to then explain to you what you're doing in the opening section anyway, and you have your powers, you're kind of left thinking it would have been better just to have done a slow build.
Barbarians the axe. The earth shook.
So you have this introduction.
With fearsome attacks.
And the graphics are, you know,
ground black with fire and red.
Nice enough. They're fairly stylistic. They match in with the general theme of it. The size of their heads is ridiculous compared to their bodies, but
and all the combatants.
And then up above you have the Peace Goddess, of course.
The blue gem was taken by the king.
And when she cries, her tears turn into multicolored jewels. And the gems and jewels go to the Vikings and the knights, and they take them.
With unending life.
And this is all fine.
No,
so you have this thing, the gems put forward to the end of welfare and strife.
And gathering clouds.
And the bearers go unending life, so okay. So this is the thing, so they're saying there, no one pays attention to the tales of war. Rumours of war are gathering there. As if, you know, these things happen in the past, you don't know what's happening. And yet, they've just said that the kings have never lived life. So the kings can remember this. So why have they gone back to fighting? And the game itself starts, you have bandits going at you, which is basically just reskinned versions of your own troops. And they do this kind of mumbling speaking for the characters on voices, which actually is in keeping with the idea of it.
Hi there.
It's King Elgar.
Hello.
And here's our hero character, Sir Gaff. And they're trying to put that kind of element of Shrek to it, where it doesn't quite take itself seriously. That kind of Shrek or Terry Pratchett's theme of, you know, we're playing a bit to this. We know kind of what we're aiming for. We're taking the archetypes and we're going to subvert them as much as we can do. And it just seems to be, it just seems like it's all been a bit squished together, really. And you can tell already there that Lord Rufus has got to be the traitor. And I'm going to put a spoiler in. When you see Lord Rufus, he walks along and he's tall, he's bald, he wears black and red, and you'll notice the opposition characters here are wearing black and red. You know, and one of the achievements is, and I'm going to spoil this, defeat the traitor's army. I'm going to hazard a guess that Lord Rufus is the bad guy. Whether he's the big bad or whether he's just a sideline, I don't know. But yeah, so it's having to take tons of things to you. So you start and you have the ballista firing. And this is one of the points I had issue here. You can move the camera around fairly easy enough. And you'll see here, I'm choosing not to zoom the camera in. And I'm doing this deliberately. Because once you start putting all the elements together, you've got your ballista and you've got your troops. And you're keeping an eye on the enemy troops who are coming along to try and destroy your castle. If you zoom in, you can't see what the opposition troops are doing. Whereas if you're zoomed out, you can't aim your ballista properly. And the fact you're trying to see, you can zoom in quite far and get a lot better look at these things. The zooming in obviously zooms in centre, which isn't necessarily always where you want to zoom into anyway. But it's trying to balance that thing between what your ballista can see and what you can see of the enemy troops. So having got this ballista, we now throw in the idea of troop types. And each time you switch between spawning a troop, you then have to press the shoot button to bring back your ballista. So you can't instantly have troops spawning and be firing your ballista. You have to spend a second or two worth to swap back between them. And for some reason this doesn't seem to work properly. The idea that you've got this big shooting ballista that's your main defence, and let's be honest, it is your main defence. You know, your little troops here are basically creeps or minions. They're not particularly strong. They're there to kind of slow down the enemy, and if you get them to the Abolition Castle, so much the better.
I live to serve.
I have no idea what happened there. Actually, I've just missed why that didn't respawn.
Forward march!
Oh yes, they got the flag back, of course.
Forward
I wasn't paying attention because of that thing of you have to double tap the button just to get back between your troop states and between your ballista. And when you add in the magic spells later, that's the same again. And when you add in your hero, that's the same again. You have to keep. You can see it on the bottom. I'm always having to swap between what my ballista's doing and what my troops are doing. So as my troops die off later on, I have to swap between them to go back, and it's just a bit clunky. I mean, the idea they put all these different playstyles together is great, but it needs a better execution to it. And I appreciate this isn't a retail game and it's not a AAA title, but on the other hand, it's just the polish I'm talking about is not so much in terms of the graphics. It just seems a bit like it is. We've got our various different gameplays. We've got our ballista defense. We've got our tower defense creeps. We've got our Angry Birds physics for destroying the castles themselves. Which once we get past, so you can start to see the castle on the right there, and all those walls you can knock down. The gate stops your creeps getting. So kind of when I take tower defense, I go more towards the Plants v Zombies target. But I mean, the hero himself is clunky to control. And he's got a bow, so he can shoot, and he can do a kind of dragon punch sword rising thing, and he can use his shield to defend against ballista attacks. And when he dies, you have that natural cooldown on it. But it all just seems a bit clunky in putting it all together. Which is a shame, to be honest. Because I think in this, there is actually a good game hidden around at this point. And see, now you get to the main objective, which is you destroy the enemy's castle. And you'd think in a tower defense game, destroying the enemy's castle would be your main thing. But there's quite a few of the early levels, certainly, and I presume this is true later on. You're not trying to destroy the opponent's castle, you're trying to destroy their minions. So whereas here, it's the objective you think through the game would be destroy the enemy's castle, knock down the gate, get your creeps in there, doing minor damage to the castle, and using various ballista arrowheads. And you can see the different arrowheads down there. The one that looks like a red apple is actually a bomb. It's not apples you're throwing. The third one along. And as you're watching, you can see the sort of different arrow types doing what they do. And there's nice touches in this, like you can shoot arrows out the sky. You can see projectiles, so you hit the projectile, you can damage it, which is great. But the levels where you're trying to just take out minions and you're not there destroying the enemy castle just kind of drag a little. The hero's just not responsive enough. See, they threw something there. That kind of, the basic ballista attacks don't do a lot to damage the castles in that case. So you very much have to rely on getting the bombs in. But the basic spikes and the basic ballistas don't do anything to the walls. So you're not seeing any immediate gains anyway. If the castle's not there, you're dealing with enemy minions and they're a little boring to shoot. You've either got a standard ballista shooting game, and for the most part you need to put your own minions in, your own troops in, just to slow them down enough to aim the shots. Because remember, you're not able to zoom in too much more because you need to keep an eye on the fact that the wizards and their arrow guys, you need to see where they are. Plus then the fact you've got your troops going in to slow them down, you can shoot your own troops in the back. And while that's a more accurate and realistic depiction, oh, I just lost a bit of my castle there. While that's a more accurate description of how these things work, I kind of think in this one that friendly fire should be disabled. Because otherwise, particularly in this map where it ends down, it's just, if you have troops going down this hill, you can see their troops coming up it. If my troops are going down it, I can't hit those troops without taking out my troops in the first place. I have to wait to get to this point, which means they're getting far too close. Let's be honest, they're getting far too close to the door, stopping them getting to my castle.
Yes, my liege.
And I would... I don't know how I'd improve it. I'm not a game developer. I can see that Zen have put a lot of work into this, but for me, just not quite working. So you have this opening fight against the bandits, and then you take your hero into the arena and you learn to use your hero a bit more. And then you have your hero in some out-of-the-way way station, and he meets his mentor, which is some sort of Friar Tuck-like character. And you start getting the invasion of the Vikings. That's not a spoiler, you know they're going to be fighting. That's like on the art coming forward again. And it just never seems to quite get itself there. Yeah. Oh yeah, if you have a kill streak, it means all your stuff does a lot more damage. As we said, that you see these big spiked balls and you just look at them bounce off the castle and just not doing an awful lot in terms of damage here. Although to be fair, I'm also not really using the bombs. But at this point, I'd want to be like that section there, where I'd stopped shooting at them to create my troops. And actually, I really would have liked to be able to be firing controls to be separate to the construction controls. It just seems, I don't know, it just seems to not gel properly. I understand why teleporting your hero needs to change your base, and that's fine, I get that, but the idea at this point, and also I don't get how my troops could walk past their troops. I don't know whether there's like a one troop takes on a position troop, but it just seems a bit odd that troops can walk past each other, having not engaged. But you're always left with this, at some point I will switch to start using bombs and actually start doing some damage to the enemy castle. But I'm just so caught up on this trying to simultaneously do ballistas and troops. There you go, so you see the bombs there, Angry Bird style. Fire the bomb out and then you press the X button when you want it to explode. Even though it's flashing away in the middle of the screen, it's to remind you that you can do that. It's not there for you to press. It's not a QTE that you must do as soon as you can. That's just a reminder in the middle to say you've got this, projectile flying for the air. There was my triple shot. And it, again, it's the thing, I'm so far zoomed out, I can barely see what my troops are doing. And the projectiles just take so long to get there. That it's those little things that are just adding up to not quite... I mean, there's some nice touches, but on the whole, the game just doesn't quite seem to work. I mean, I like the fact that if you get enough of the kill streak. See, I think at this point I get bored. I thought I'll just chuck my hero in and see what's going on. I don't believe it actually has the bow available in this opening session. I think you have to go to the arena first and try it out there. I could be entirely wrong, but I didn't try it. And then you have this thing here where my hero I've managed to knock open the door, and my hero can't now go and destroy the castle. And then I'm left there thinking, what's the point of the hero at this stage? I kind of don't really need to use my hero now. All I need to do is select the appropriate projectile weapon and occasionally send out troops to slow down the enemy troops from getting to me. And at this point you think, well, why? I'm not going to use the hero. It just seems a bit of a wasted programming to actually have that one in. Yeah, we can see a bit better lot at the castles here, and there's an option later on. There is a castle build you get access to, and you can pick how your castle, you can change the shape, and you can see where if you destroy enough of the lower levels, basically the stone walls equal the solidity of the castle. Once you smash through them, the room they're in is not not able to be used anymore. So if you've destroyed a barracks room, for example, that troop type is not available. And that's quite a nice little feature, although it means that turnarounds are harder because you've lost some of your troops. Which again makes the ballista the most important thing in any case, because you've always got access to your ballista, even if the gates failed. And there you can see a decent shot straight in the middle of the castle, and I'm taking out half the thing. You can see this is the Angry Birds gameplay. And some of this, I suppose, is just in terms of managing what you're doing. But I'm kind of left thinking, if my troops can't get into the castle, and I can kill them anyway, I almost don't use my troops. My hero can't go into the castle, so I can't use him for these things.
My sword is yours, my liege.
And I'm left a little disappointed. I think I wanted to like this game. There's a nice, you can see here I'm getting bored in terms of troop types, so I'm just basically having 4 arch units and then just keeping 1 cheap sacrificial unit just to stop any enemy troops going through. And it's also because I've destroyed quite a few of the enemy barracks in destroying the castle. They're not able to get the troop types out. Their food resource that limits what they can come out.
Is not in vain.
Means they can't. It takes them a lot longer.
I will be avenged.
There's other things, but at this point, I'm actually just the archers and my ballista are just taking care of anything that's coming towards me. So I've already got one strategy. and I can see already this is a strategy I'm going to be using throughout the game. And I pretty much do. I very rarely choose to pick the hero unless I need to really slow down an enemy type until I can get my troop resources up. And for as much as I wanted to like this game, it's just ended up being a little bit too clunky. And it's disappointing that they show these ammo types, and things like the spike ball looks great, but actually, for all that it says it does great against the castle walls, it really doesn't. It works well against enemy troops, it doesn't work well against castle walls. At that point you want the triple shots or the bombs. Yeah, and that's kind of about what I've got to say on this really. I did about a half hour, there you go. I defeated the bandits and they just saunter away. It seems like they've cheaped out a bit on the character model as well. And just these things, these little things around the place, they've just not quite done properly. And they're trying to be kind of doing it with a nod and a wink, and a little bit of a smile around the side. But it just doesn't work for me, I'm afraid. Yeah, so while I've been waffling on in the background, that has been CastleStorm on PS3. It's one of the PS Plus free games of August 2015, so if I get this video up in time, you've still got a few more days to have a look at it. And it's not a terrible game, it just doesn't seem to hang together as well as I think possibly this game should have done. I mean, to be fair, I didn't try any of the DLC, so it could be that the DLC campaigns are a lot smoother and a lot better put together. You get these screens afterwards, so battle configurations. There's the circles at the bottom are the item types or the troop types you've equipped. The castle, as you can see here, you need to go far along, and a lot of things are gated. So a lot of the equipment is gated, a lot of the castles are gated, and
Hi there.
in multiplayer, from the little I had a look at it, this seems to be true there as well. They've absolutely gated everything at this point. I'm skipping ahead now just to show off the castle edge in the background while I wrap this up. Mainly because this is your Friar Tuck character, and then we'll fade from him, get rid of the arena boss fight, which gets used to hero, and this is just showing off the castle editor. You saw a quick look at one of the castles I built earlier, and an even quicker snippet from the level I was playing previously to get to that point. You don't get access to this until you've completed a couple more of the campaign levels. It shows off the castle builder quite nicely. You can put up to 50 areas. It's not 50 rooms. You can put more than 50 kind of blocks in. There's a limit at the bottom of how much can go in there. And you can see it's relatively simple. You select the bits you want. You can delete. As soon as you tap on your graph paper area, the bit in yellow, it will automatically give you whatever room you last had selected. But as you can see here, I'm trying to add in a bonus room I've gained, which allows me to use 6 troops on the field rather than the starting 5. And what I'm trying to do on this castle I've made up is I want to put it in this space here. But I didn't particularly want to lose the kind of secondary protection. Well, my aim on this one is we've gone for an outer tower to take some of the hits. And then I'm looking at going, well, actually I could do with an archer's barracks. I haven't put the archer's barracks in yet. And then of course that's that much longer. So I'm now having to delete all these pieces. And it's fairly clear, and I look at that and I can see that wall on the left hand side above this piece I'm moving now would collapse. And one good thing about the editor is it does at least give you the option to test your castle out. So if you have inadvertently made a castle and you've left something floating, it will disintegrate straight away and you'll be able to see that. And then all I'm doing here, to be honest, is I'm just going, well, I've got a limit of 50. I may as well put as many pieces in as I can. So you can see I very clumsily extended that main tower to right where I am now. And then a bit nicer on this tower and the tower to the other side. I am basically just going, well, I can add these bits in here and add that bits in there. And then go, well, I can give myself that much more space. And you've got various different sort of room types you can see appear there. As long as they're green, you can slot them in there fine. You know, it's fairly quick. You can see the options there. Option of testing it, and you actually then can control the ballista, and it gives you, I mean, those are just 5 ammo types it gave me. And you basically can then try and destroy your own castle, so you can see how well protected it is, or it wouldn't be, against the various kind of projectile types that are liable to appear. And I have to say, I mean, this is actually, this is quite, for the most part, this is well thought out in that you can build the castle around, you can build what you like, as long as you're within your yellow squares. Your gate at the front, where you can see the pennant, where your ballista lives, you can upgrade that. So I think there's 5 different types, I saw somewhere, to make your gates a lot stronger against enemy attacks. Although, if the enemy troop types can't get into the castle anyway, I don't entirely set why the gate's there. So it slows the ballista down, nothing else. Yeah, the fact that you can then be, you know, seeing what bits you destroy. I remember an earlier castle type, I tried it out and I was able to actually damage the gate because the tower would fall onto the gate when it was destroyed in a particular way. It was particularly good. But it's there's nowhere that explains how to use the editor, so you have to kind of experiment with it to find out how to use these bits. And things like when you tap your X button just to go in the sort of yellow graph area, you automatically get whatever room type you last had selected, which, to be honest, I'm not sure that's a good or a bad thing. I mean, they're fairly well modelled, and you know, there's nothing really to fault it, but again, it's just that little bit clunky in terms of how it all goes together. Yeah, again, which is a shame, because there are some nice touches in CastleStorm. They've done some good work on it, but overall, I'm afraid Zen Studios, you've not got me this one. Maybe with a sequel you'll get me. I'm not sure what I'd suggest needs changing. But when I had nearly as much fun actually destroying one of my creations, the castle editor, rather than playing the main game. That's how quickly you can fire the bombs out on this one. Yeah. So, anyway, this has been a quick overview of CastleStorm rather than my usual playthroughs, but certainly a bit of a brief overlook at it. I've been Terrorhawk. Thank you all for watching, and we shall see you next time. Bye for now.